Does the emoji picker in Windows or Apple have a YouTube icon? The reason I'm starting this video with this question is because if I go to my Anytype graph, we can see that there are these objects with the YouTube icon. If we click on one of these objects, we can see that this is actually a YouTube video. Now, the way we get these icons in front of the name of an object is by giving it an icon. To demonstrate this, I'm just going to go to my test workspace and I'm going to create a new object, make it the page type object, and we're going to get an option to add an icon, and this brings up the emoji picker. From here we can add any emoji to this, and if we go to the graph now, we can see that this new object has this icon. Now, to answer the question that I had asked before, the answer is no. The emoji picker actually does not have an YouTube icon. So how did I end up getting these icons for my object? This and some other ways of visualizing context in Anytype are the topics of my video today. So without any more delay, we get this by creating a bookmark. So to demonstrate this, I'm just going to create a new object. We're going to click this plus button and change the type to bookmark. And here we can see that there is a relation called source, and if we click the field here and paste in a link, I have already copied a link from one of my own YouTube videos. I'm going to paste it here by clicking Ctrl V. And as we have been seeing, there are three options here. One is to open link, one is to copy the link, and the third one is to reload from source. If we click this reload from source option, then we can see that Anytype has automatically copied the title and the description of my video and has placed the title here and the description in my Anytype. And if we click here to see the graph, we can see that this object that we have created, which is highlighted in yellow, now has the YouTube icon. Of course, this is not only for YouTube videos. I'm going to do this again. Create a new object, change the type to bookmark, and find the source relation. And I'm going to find this Wikipedia page. Click Ctrl C to copy the link and paste it in this source tab by Ctrl V and click reload from source. And as you can see, it has brought in the title of the page and also the description of the page. If we go to the graph, we can see that this object has the Wikipedia logo. This is one of my most favorite ways in which Anytype gives us some visual context about the kind of content we have in our Anytype. I'm just going to delete this. Now, this is not the only way of adding a bookmark. We can also create a new object and just directly paste in the link here. And if we try to do that, we get this option of format. We can paste it as link, as a bookmarked object, create a bookmark, or just plain text. Here we are going to choose the create bookmark option. If we do, we can see that this object has been added as a bookmark. If we click this handle and click open as object, we can see the same type of formatting. There is another way of doing this. I'm going to just bring the cursor here and Ctrl V to add the link. Here we see just the three options: paste link, create a bookmark, and paste as object. The option to create a bookmark object that we saw before is not here because this is already a node type object. I'm going to click out of here and I'm going to create another object. And then I'm going to try and paste in that link here. Here we see create bookmark object. If we click this, what will happen is it is going to turn this object, which is about to become a node type object, into a bookmark type object. Let's click it here. And as you can see, this object has become a bookmark type object. So let's just recap. There are so far 3 ways of creating a bookmark type object, which will give us the icon of the website the bookmark is part of. First, we can just create a bookmark type object. Create a new object, turn the type into bookmark, and paste our link here, and click reload from source, and this creates a bookmark type object. Second is just create a new object, paste in the link here, and choose create bookmark. This will embed the link as a bookmark inside our new object. And the third one is this creating an object, pasting the link, and choosing create bookmark object, which will convert the current object, which will make sure that this object becomes a bookmark type object. And all 3 options obviously will have the icon of the website that this bookmark link is part of. Now currently, this reload from source option is only available with the system source relation. So what is a system source type relation? If we go to the library, in the relations tab in the library, we can see that Anytype has some default relations, and source is one of the default relation. It is needed for Anytype to function. This symbol means that it is a URL type of relation. Only this relation currently has the reload from source option. If I create a custom URL type relation, first let's click here to bring the cursor here, /rela relation, create new relation, and name this SOURCE, source test. Create new relation, and I'm going to make it a URL type relation, and click create. Now if I click here, we can already see only 2 options, open link and copy link. The reload from source option is not here. So we have to keep this in mind if we want this formatting. But we can always achieve this formatting by just coming here, Ctrl V to paste, and we're going to choose create bookmark. And this will create an embedded bookmark type object. And if we click this handle and choose open as object, we'll see that we have our bookmark type object with formatting. Now in the graph view, there is this option to add these arrows. It is like Obsidian and other apps that have this graph view option. It tells us which object initiated a thought process and what was the consequence. If we go to this settings button, we can turn these arrows on and off. I of course keep this on to give me a better idea of what is going on in my knowledge base. Another fun thing is this local graph. If we turn this on, we can see that our entire graph has disappeared, other than this object which we were on. This is fun to see in collections. If I choose one of the collections and then go to graph now, we can just see that particular collection. And if we keep clicking, we can just isolate only the connection that are part of this selected object. Let's click it here again, and all the objects in the collection are visible again. This can help us concentrate if we need to focus our attention at a particular point. I'm going to turn this off, and all my objects are back. And if you're wondering how am I zooming in and out of my graph, it's just the scroll wheel on the mouse, and for panning, we can just click and drag the canvas. And currently, this is a new feature that the graph can be zoomed out completely. Now that we're done with this topic, the thing I want to say is that Anytype can have an object as a home page or landing page, and also the graph as a home page or landing page. To decide what is going to be our home page, we have to go to the space setting here. And from here, we can decide which object is going to be our home page. We can choose the graph or any of the existing objects, and we can also make it so that the last open object becomes our home page. I just keep it at graph. Now here another thing we can do is choose the default type. Here we can see the default type is note. We can choose any of the types to be our default type. What the default type is that if we can remember, every time I created an object, it by default created a note type of object. Let's do that again with plus. And as you can see, by default, it is trying to become a note type object. If I start writing, it will be a note type object. I can of course change the type from here, but by default, it is always the note type. Another thing I want to say about visualization is that instead of left clicking on this plus button, if I right click on this plus button, I get this bar. From here, I can search all the types in my Anytype to decide which type of object I want to make, or I can create a set or a collection from the get-go. Now this layout is of course not fixed. If I click this search button, I get the list of all the types in my Anytype, and if I right click on all these types, I get these pop up, and from here I can of course open the type or set this type as default, or we can pin it to top. If we pin it to top, as you can see, this has been pinned to top, and these types we can rearrange, but these lists and other type of objects cannot be rearranged. Only the pinned objects can be rearranged. Now let's see again, and here are the objects that we had rearranged. We can also see that in here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 types are visible. Among the 7, 2 are the list types, which is set in collection, and the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are types. So now that this is done, the next things about visualization that I want to say are part of an object. So I'm just going to go into my demo space and create a new object. Here also the default is set to note. I'm going to change it to page type, which has the page type of layout with an icon and cover and everything. Let's make a cover here. We can also change the cover and turn it image from unsplash, but I'm just going to keep it as it is. We can also change the layout. There are 4 layouts. The note layout only is a page where we can just start writing without formatting. And the basic layout, where we have a banner, an icon, and a title, and the body of the text. The other 2 layouts are action and profile. The profile is used for profile of people that we know and our contacts. And the layout action is for adding action items like projects with tasks inside them. Now I'm going to go back to the basic type, which is the page layout. And here in the title, we can format the title by going to this handle here, and we can change the color of the title and also the background of the title. Let's change the color to amber. We can also change the background of this type here. Let's change it to purple. Now the same formatting can be applied to text. Let's just make a line. Anytype is completely markdown enabled, so just clicking dash, and here is a bulleted point. And all other markdown commands also work, and we can find them by just going to this question mark and this keyboard shortcuts, and you can find all the markdown commands right here. Our object will be in the recently edited tab here, this one. Let's close this. Now, to access all the text formatting options, we can just do by clicking the / button. This will bring us a menu. All the formatting are quite familiar, but there are 2 things that I want to mention. One is the difference between highlight and background color in Anytype. If I want a highlight, as in a color behind this text, after typing the / I'm going to type color. This will bring up text color here, and above it is the background color. If I click one of this, it will give us a highlight. Now, if I click / again and type highlight and click it, this happens. So in Anytype, the highlight option is kind of like a quote. And to add a color behind the text, which we generally call a highlight, we have to find the background color option and choose the background color. Now let's enter and make a new block. The other thing that I want to talk about is the formatting of a link. Of course, if there is an embedded link inside an object, it should look different from other text inside the object. So let's just embed an object here. For that, I'm going to click / and go to obj so I can get a list of all the objects here. And this first option, create link to another object. I'm just going to link it to here. So to change the formatting of this embedded object, I'm going to go to this handlebar and I get these options. My favorite type of formatting for an embedded object is this card option. This creates a box, but I don't usually like to keep it just like this. I like to change the background color of the object. And also, I usually like to add the object tag and also cover. Now, this object does not have any cover. For demonstration purposes, let's go to the object and give it a cover. Now let's go back and see what happens. And we can see that the cover is visible at this point. Now, this kind of formatting is not only available for objects, but also for relations. So let's enter and make a new block and create a relation here. To do that, I'm going to click / and click RELA, relation, create a new relation, and let's choose this relation and just add one of the options here. This is a multi-select relation and it has multiple options that I can choose from, whether one or many. I'm just going to choose one option here. And similarly, if we choose this 3-dot option, we can change the color of the background. In relation, we cannot change the color of the text. Also, in case of an embedded object, we also cannot change the color of the text. But for normal text, you can of course change the text color. These are the type of formatting that I wanted to talk about. My advice is to use the color suite in Anytype to color code our different types of objects. I hope this will help you with onboarding, and please let me know how you like the feature of Anytype where it adds the icon and title of the web page that we add as a bookmark. This is a favorite feature of mine. I hope this has been helpful to you. Like and subscribe. Have a good day. See you soon.